Hi, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant and mother of 3. Nathan, who's 25. He's going to be 26 in a couple months. I can't believe it. I know. He's going to be on his own insurance. I'm going to have a kid on their own insurance.
Oh, my God. Well, that'll be wild. Will that be cheaper for you?
No, Tom. Oh. No, everybody's on Tom, so it doesn't matter. And then my twins.
Is it cheaper for Tom?
No, it's going to be the same. Yeah, it should be the same.
Dumb.
I know. My twins are 23. No, they're not. Yes, they are 23. I had to really think about that. They won't be 24 till November. So they are 23. And I was just thinking last night about how like hard it still is to parent with adult kids and how it's like they have all these issues, but you can't fix them because they're adults. So you have to kind of wait for them to fix themselves, which is really hard to watch. So it's like, it's hard to have adult kids. Anyway.
I don't like to hear about that.
I know.
I would like it to get easier. And I remember this was a few years ago now, but my mother-in-law, I don't even remember. It was, before the pandemic or I don't know when it was, but it wasn't that long ago. She was like certainly like in her late 70s or 80s. And she went through this period of time where she was having like this anxiety if she couldn't get a hold of Ian, my husband's brother, my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. So she would like call and he wouldn't answer. He'd be like fishing or something, because he would be doing something, working or like doing some hobby. And if he didn't answer, she would like go get in her head and have like a panic attack.
Oh.
And I'm like, seriously? You're still doing that?
I know.
And then I'm like, oh my God, am I going to have to do that? I don't, because I'm so anxious anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 70 freaking out about my kids.
I know.
But I guess you just do. You're never not a mom.
You're never not a mom. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You're never not a mom. And it really is just like, I'm just kind of like waiting for them to do the thing, like do their things. It's like little thing. Like if it's like, okay, you need a doctor's appointment. I can't do that for them anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't make them do it themselves.
Sure. Right.
So you can only just say to them, you really need to do this. And then hope that they're going to like follow through with what they need to do or their relationships or their, like their work life or whatever. And it's like, you just hope that they're going to do what they need to do. And a lot of it comes out of how you raise them, I guess, but you still worry that their life is like, you can't control so much of it and you want to help them and you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, and I bet you there's like I bet you the ages of like 18 to like I bet anybody in their 20s is like not a common person to show up at a doctor's office.
Right, exactly.
Like they're just not doing it.
I know. But
yeah.
It's wild. It's wild how things change.
Yeah.
But I'm your lactation consultant who doesn't know how to parent an older child.
Nobody does.
And I'm also maternal child health specialist. So that's me. And then there's Abby.
And I'm Abby. And I'm the badass breastfeeder. And I am mom to Jack and Exley. Jack will be 15 next month. And Exley will be 12 in a few days.
Oh, my goodness.
And they were breastfed for a really long time. And I have a social work background. I worked with kids in residential settings who were dealing with psychiatric and behavioral issues. And I'm just dying to say it. We have a flying squirrel that visits our feeder.
You still have him?
You know about that? Did I tell you about that?
You told me about that when we were in Detroit.
Oh, yeah. No, he's like a regular visitor now.
Oh.
He is the cutest thing. His name is Munchie. And I give him nuts at night. And I don't even feed the birds anymore. Like the birds get the leftovers from Munchie at night.
Oh my God.
He is so adorable. And I'll put a picture. You can scroll down into the, actually, I don't think I can put a picture in the episode notes because I don't think it loads images, but I'll put it on the website.
Yeah.
And then it's a good segue. You can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. Check out our sponsor page, because today's episode is brought to you by Original Sprout. Original Sprout has an awesome deal this week for a 32-ounce hair and body baby wash. And this is like the body wash, like I was just saying before we came on. Exley uses it. I've used it. You can use it on your newborn. And 32 ounce. It's probably got that little pump thing on top.
Yeah.
And that would be so great to have in the shower. Everybody can use it. And you get a gift with your purchase. If you buy that, you get a badass logoed hair wrap.
We have logoed hair wraps?
We do. Remember they were going to do like something. You know what? I better double check on this, but now they have to do it because I said it. So I'll just say, here we go. Get that going.
Oh my God. I love it.
Different.
I remember that.
So yeah. So it's a hair wrap this week. And so you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. Check out our sponsor page. If you ever need anything, see if you can give them any of your business. Then you can go to all of our other episodes. We're counting down to 500. And we're doing a super fun thing, which we're counting down our top 10 episodes. And so I'll get to that in a second when I finish my spiel. So go over there. You can also check this episode. Go down and see a picture of Munchie. He's adorable. And you can go to the top link in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and check out our Patreon, because we have 2 tiers. Both of those tiers include our podcast, Revolution Parenting, where we talk about all things parenting, discipline, boundaries, child development, all kinds of things. And then the other tier, and both of the tiers offer that. One of the tiers also offers Thank You for Nursing in Public cards and podcast stickers sent to your home every month. So we're also hosting our ongoing giveaway. So for people who leave reviews around the internet, go ahead, leave a review, whether it's stars, written, whatever, take a screenshot, send it to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll send you one of those goodie bags that I just talked about. And also, if you have already left a review, or you can't leave a review on your app or whatever, just share it with your friends, or share it on your socials or whatever, and take a screenshot of that. That's good. We're just trying to get the word out about the podcast. And also, if you have a breastfeeding photo that you wouldn't mind me sharing, I would love it. You can say a little bit about your story or about yourself or not. It's okay either way. And we'll also send you a goodie bag for that. And I'll go ahead and do our top 9. Coming in at number 9 for our top 10 episodes is caffeine and elimination diets, which I find
everybody wants that caffeine.
Yeah. Everybody's worried about caffeine, but also needs it, and is wondering about, like the things you're supposed to cut out.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
It is a good one. So we're linking these in the show notes, right?
I think so.
You did that. I think I did.
Let me leave myself a note.
Diane does the show notes, and she's always good about linking all the things. But then I come in here with my blah, like, oh, we'll link it in the show notes. And then I'm like, I don't know if I ever checked on that. And then I'm not so good at it.
I'm making myself a note right now.
All right. I mean, I can also do it when I'm uploading the stuff. Our website is I don't know about when you're hearing this recording, but it is still broken.
It's having some issues.
We're getting it fixed. So I'm sorry about that. We're working on it. And we are counting down to our 500th episode. And we are going to be doing a big thing. We're going to be doing a big giveaway. We're going to be doing a special episode. So far for the giveaway, we have my used with my kids toddler Leela baby carrier. We're going to put together a bunch of like badass merch, and we're going to get our sponsors involved. I'm 100% sure that Original Sprout and Nursing Queen will want to be a part of it. And I'm going to contact all the other ones that we've worked with before that we love, and we're going to put together like an awesome thing. And I think that I'm finally done. And Dianne has our review of the week.
Yes. And it says, I have been listening to y'all since I had my first in 2020. Y'all have been so helpful in so many ways. I'm due with my second, and I might be induced since she's getting too big. I'm wondering if there is an episode on induction and how it affects breastfeeding. Please let me know if there's one already recorded. Would love to listen to it because I have some fears. This is a big fear of a lot of people's, like, inductions and stuff like that. I don't know. We have episodes on just how birth impacts breastfeeding
and birth interventions.
Like, we've definitely talked about,
that kind of thing.
Yeah. So there is definitely, we don't have anything directly on like only induction. We should maybe do that.
We can do that.
We should put it on the list because inductions, I don't know about anybody else, but here where I live, inductions are high.
Yeah. I was induced.
I was induced too. Yeah. Well, I was living in North Carolina at the time, but yeah, I was induced. Yeah.
I think it's very, very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could always talk about it.
We should do that. Maybe we can get some people to share their experiences too.
Yeah.
But you can do it. A lot of the things about inductions is just wrong. Like, remember, you like, I found out doing this podcast that all the things they told me in the hospital were wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, because I was induced, my milk wasn't coming in.
That's not true.
Yeah. And I remember you being like, what?
I know.
But once the placenta is passed, then your body's like, oh, I had a baby. Which is like not supposed to have a bunch of milk on day one.
I don't know. People just make shit up.
I think they're just in there making shit up left and right because they're not trained, and it's so like, if you know what it always freaks me out is when I hear about people who work in labor and delivery. And I'm sure there's plenty of people listening right now, and you could send me an email and tell me like what you think about this. But I always hear that it's such a high adrenaline job. You know, like you're like the nurses. The nurses are like the nurses are like running on adrenaline because, like, you know, there's times where like not a lot's going on, and then maybe there's like now there's 4 people giving birth or however many is a lot, and then you're like under this pressure from the hospital to like get people like in and then out and then over into recovery and all of this. And it's like, oh my God, is this the best way?
I know.
So tell me what you think. I mean, if you work in that environment, you probably obviously know more than I do. I just remember being in there and being like, I remember the nurse who was working with me. She was amazing. I think her name was Andrea, and I loved her. And she was like, I remember her, like, I'm looking down at one point and realizing that her hands were shaking because she was like rushing, but not rushing, you know, like she was all hopped up on adrenaline, was feeling like she had to go fast, but she was also like trying to be patient with me.
Oh, wow.
And like, I remember her like hand just being like, I can't remember what she was doing. She was like showing me how to like flush the incision because I had an episiotomy.
Oh God.
Like she was doing that. And I could tell that her hand was like she was having to like control her hand so that she could be calm for me, and that her insides weren't calm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just like,
it's wild.
It is. I'm sorry. Oh my God. It's like, we're so running, whatever. We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. It's our podcast. So we're talking about good stuff. I'm going to put it on the episode notes right now, and then we can talk about this. Dianne found this article.
Yeah, so there is a new article. This is what our show is about today, by the way, people. We are going to talk about low milk supply and what is not low milk supply. And we did an episode on this a long time ago. However, this new article just came out about women who struggle to have a full supply. And it's not a terrible article. Like, I was expecting to see all this garbage in here, but it's more about like the medical reasons why some women don't have enough milk supply. And it says here that, for many years, doctors have assumed true cases of poor supply are rare, occurring in no more than 5% of mothers. The prevailing evidence to worried parents from health authorities in places such as England and America has therefore been to stimulate the release of milk by either putting the baby to the breast or using a breast pump. And that's a lot of times what we say. But now they're saying that studies of breast milk production involving hundreds of women, and they're only talking about hundreds, but hundreds of women in America and Australia in recent years suggested the proportion of mothers who produce too little milk is far higher than previously thought, between 10 and 20%. So now they're saying that it's more like 10 to 20%, which still leaves like 80% on the high end, 80% of women that can breastfeed without a problem when you're thinking of milk supply, that will make enough milk. I feel like the amount of people that say they don't make enough milk, who really believe that they're not making enough milk, is way more than 10 to 20%, though.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, totally.
There's still things that are going on that are making people believe that they don't have enough milk. And I think that's a problem. So,
well, isn't that the number one reason people quit breastfeeding? Is because they feel like they're not making enough milk.
Yeah. So I did came across this. I follow this one lactation consultant out of the UK, and her name is Kathryn Stagg. She's an IBCLC, and she had this great 10 things that do not indicate low milk supply. And I thought we would talk about them.
Cool.
And if you want to follow her, she is Kathryn Stagg, IBCLC on Instagram, Kathryn with a K. And she has the first thing that she's talking about here is your baby is feeding frequently. And we know that when babies feed frequently, people always automatically think, I'm not making enough milk. Or somebody near you is saying, are you making enough milk because the baby's going to the breast again? Like, you're hearing that and it gets in your head and you're like, why am I still feeding this baby so much? So 3 hours is often what we are told, but in reality, that is the minimum a baby should feed. Most babies prefer to feed more frequently. Babies love to cluster feed at night to start with, and in the evenings and the early mornings a few weeks down the line. So, and we have done episodes on cluster feeding, or at least I know we've done one on cluster feeding. Cluster feeding is hard because you're constantly feeding a baby, but this is what babies do. And it doesn't mean that you don't have enough milk. It means your baby is just cluster feeding. That's all. They're just feeding. And what they're going to actually do is increase your supply by cluster feeding. But that does not mean if a baby is feeding it more than every 3 hours, that is okay.
I wouldn't even call that cluster feeding.
No, feeding every 3 hours is definitely not. That's just normal feeding.
Can we just toss out cluster feeding? Because it's just feeding. They're just feeding. There's no difference in feeding. Like there's some kind of like pathological feeding and then some normal feeding. Like they're just feeding. That's what they do.
Yeah. That's what they do. And when you're in the hospital and those babies are like half asleep and not half asleep, they're fully asleep because they just were born and they're like out of it. But they tell you in the hospital, like, feed your baby every 3 hours. And then you get home and your baby's like awake and alert and your milk is in and they're like, all right, they want to feed every hour and a half or 2 hours. That's normal. That is very, very normal. And I think a lot of people really go, oh my God, my baby went from feeding every 3 hours in the hospital to feeding every 1 to 2 hours now. Am I making enough milk? Yes, you are. But we constantly question that.
Yeah.
And it is, even when we say, oh, it's between 10 and 20% is, the proportion of mothers. And remember, that's only like studies of just a few hundred women. That's not the thousands and thousands of women that are having babies every day. So your baby's feeding frequently. The second one is your baby wakes in the night.
Oh my God.
I know we've talked about this so often that when babies wake in the night, that does not mean that you're not making enough milk. It just is biologically normal for them to wake in the night and want to eat. And we also are not considering the fact, and I talk about this when I do breastfeeding classes, and I talk about this like when we were in Detroit and I did a breastfeeding class in Detroit, like babies' stomachs are small. They are really small, and breast milk is very easily digestible. So they do feed more frequently, and they do feed during the night, and that is normal.
And that's how they're wired. That's why breast milk is so easily digestible, because you want your baby waking frequently. Yeah. They're not designed. It's not safe for them to go into a deep sleep for a super long time, which is why formula is a SIDS risk.
Yep.
You want your baby waking frequently. Now, listen, if you've got a baby that sleeps a lot, don't freak out. And you're breastfeeding your baby and they just happen to sleep a lot. No, but you don't want to be like trying to get your baby to sleep longer. That's just not what that's not what we want.
No.
I mean, it's kind of what we want, but it's like not. It shouldn't.
They should do it on their own.
Yeah.
Is what should happen. They should be doing it on their own. But night waking is normal. There are many periods during the first year and beyond where babies wake more and others when they sleep a little better. This is not to do with milk production, but baby development. And sleep is developmental. And they are, like Abby said, they are wired to wake more when they are littler. This is just normal stuff. And 3 and 4 are pretty easy ones. You have small breasts. We know that size doesn't matter. It really does not matter about the size of your breast. It matters about how much breast tissue. So or how much milk making tissue your breasts have. It has nothing to do with the size. And leaking does not indicate anything. So if you are not leaking, do not assume that you do not have enough milk because you're not leaking. I don't think I leaked at all, really. And only during the night I leaked. But if you're not leaking during the day, that does not indicate anything about your supply. That is totally fine. Nothing to do with milk production. And some people only leak in the early weeks and don't leak past that. So leaking is a very individualized thing. It is not going to tell you anything about your supply. So why don't we take a quick break and then we'll talk about the rest of them.
Okay. We'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Original Sprout. And Original Sprout is offering an awesome deal this week. If you go to originalsprout.com and you purchase their 32-ounce hair and body baby wash, which is the greatest body wash there is. And 32 ounces is really big. So you can get that for the whole family. Use code BADASS26 and you will get a badass logo hair wrap along with it. And this reminds me, I have curly hair. And one thing I learned from this curly haired Instagram guy was that, yes, this guy was Matt's hair or something like that. He's so fat. He's fantastic. He's hilarious. He has the best hair. Is like, you can start with taking care of your curls before you even get out of the shower. And as soon as you're done getting out of the shower, or as soon as you're done showering, you're going to put in like some of the curl cream. The Original Sprout has curl cream. Put it in and then put that hair wrap on and just let it sit there. And when you take it out, your hair's curls will be amazing. Instead of like scrunching your hair and like getting all the moisture out at first. Mm-hmm. So anyway, 32-ounce hair and body baby wash. You get a badass logo hair wrap. And today's episode is also brought to you by Nursing Queen. And Nursing Queen sells those awesome and stylish nursing clothes that have hidden zippers and hidden flaps. And now that we are in summer, you can take a look at all of their beautiful summer dresses and their tank tops. They have, we were talking about this last week. They have formal dresses. Like, do you have weddings or anything? They're sort of, there's my phone again, buzzing the loudest buzz it ever can. And if you have somewhere formal to go, like your summer is time for, all kinds of events. Mm-hmm. And they have nursing dresses that are like formal. They have they have tops that can go with like nice pants or something. You can get it there. And it will have the hidden zippers and you can just nurse like so discreetly if you want. I mean, I'm all about pulling up your shirt if you want, but it's also easier. You don't want to have to like pull on a formal dress. And you don't have to with Nursing Queen. So head to nursingqueen.com and use code BADASS for 10% off your purchase. And all of today's sponsors and the promo codes can be found in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from. Also at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. Hopefully it's fixed by now. You can find all of our sponsors. You'll find our episodes, and you'll find information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne.
Yes, you will. We'll talk about how you don't have low milk supply.
Yeah.
And number 5 is your breasts feel soft. Your breasts will get used to what is going on with your body. And you do not want to walk around full and hard and heavy all the time. Your body will adjust. It's going to acclimate to what is going on with your milk supply. And this is once your milk production has regulated over the first few weeks, it is totally normal for your breast to no longer feel full or firm. A soft breast is a healthy breast. And that is very true. Your milk supply, like when your milk first comes in, you feel that heaviness and you feel that fullness, and you feel like that for, you feel kind of full for a couple of weeks till your body gets acclimated. And then once your body gets acclimated, people are like, oh my God, I think my milk supply is gone. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to just go away overnight, but your body is going to acclimate to it. It's amazing. You're just going to feel normal, which is how you should feel. Mm-hmm. That's how we want you to feel. We don't want you to feel full and firm and hard and engorged and all of that stuff all the time. That's not okay. Number 6 is you cannot pump much milk. That's Abby's favorite thing. That
is my favorite thing.
Yeah. Well, how much milk you pump is not an indication of how much milk you can make. It's only an indication of how much milk you can pump. And for some people, they really struggle to pump more milk. And for some people, they pump great. It really just depends on a lot of things. And it has nothing to do with your milk supply itself. How much milk you pump has nothing to do with your milk supply.
No, and just the same way you have to learn how to breastfeed, you have to learn how to pump. Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds of ways that people are where their baby isn't pulling the maximum amount of milk out of your breast because they need to work on it. And with pumping as well. And your baby, you will never, ever pump as much milk out as your baby gets.
Right.
That'll never happen.
Unless you have a really serious oversupply.
But then, even then, wouldn't the baby, well, I guess the baby would be too full to get that out.
Exactly.
But I mean, the baby's ability to pull milk out of your breast is much stronger than your pump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they can get from just better. Their baby's just better at it. Yeah. The hormones are better. Having your baby at your breast is much better than having a pump at your breast. It's just better. Your baby's just better at it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, but people do really get nervous that they are pumping and not much is coming out. And they're like, oh my God, am I not making enough milk? Nope. Especially I had a new parent the other day who was kind of nervous about, she wasn't pumping much milk and she wasn't sure was her baby getting enough milk. She's like, I just don't know because, and he was a newborn. So she was so he's still, dozing a little bit and she just wasn't sure. And it was her first baby. And it's how much you pump has no indication of it at all.
Yeah.
You can't feel the letdown. This is one that I love because a lot of times people don't realize that not everybody feels their letdown. And you have several letdowns during a feeding. You might feel one, you might feel none, you might feel all. It is very different from person to person. And it doesn't matter. It has no indication of how, your milk supply at all. So if you don't, sometimes I'll ask people only because that tells me, if they can feel it, that tells me that they know when their baby's going to start really getting good milk. Otherwise, you can see it in the pattern of how the baby is sucking and swallowing. You can tell when the milk ejection happens because all of a sudden your baby is feeding a little bit more consistently and they're doing those good sucks and swallows. but a lot of people do not feel it at all. And that's okay. Your baby is having short feeds. That is, some babies, as they grow, and I like to make sure people know this too, as your baby becomes more efficient in feeding, as they get a little bit bigger, they're not going to be on for a long time. They're not going to be doing these marathon feeds. They're going to be done in 10 minutes and be done, and that's it. Sometimes shorter than that. Mm-hmm. It really just depends on what they're doing, how much milk they want to take out, how hungry they are, how thirsty they are, all of that stuff. And it has no indication of your milk supply. So if your baby's only feeding for like 10 minutes, don't always assume, well, is it because I don't have enough milk? Are they not just not getting enough? Is that why they didn't want to feed that long? No, it's just your baby. So if your baby is pooping and peeing and happy and growing and gaining, then we don't need to worry about it. They're doing good. The next one is another one of our favorites. Your baby will always take a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. A bottle teat is a hard stimulus into the roof of the mouth. A baby has to suck it as it is a reflex. Bottles flow fast, so the baby will take some milk. This is their reflexes feeding. It's their reflexes feeding, not the baby feeding. It's their reflex.
Oh, reflexes feeding.
Isn't that great? I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So we do not need to worry about like, oh my gosh, my baby. A lot of people in this new family that I'm just talking about right now, or that I was just mentioning, they were doing that where they thought the baby was still hungry after feed. So they were giving a little bit by bottle. A lot of people will do that. And the baby gained like 9 ounces in 3 days. So I'm like, okay, this is not unnecessary. The baby's, unnecessary. They're getting what they need from just breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. But they took from the bottle too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're going to. It is confusing for a lot of parents to realize that, yes, babies will do that. And it is not an indication that you don't have enough milk.
Yeah.
Just because they took from the bottle does not mean that you're not making enough milk. And number 10, you can't put your baby down. Very normal. Babies really do settle better in someone else's arms.
Oh, yeah.
Babies do want to be held all the time. Just because they're fussy and want to be held does not mean they're not getting enough milk. Because babies are fussy does not mean they're hungry. It just doesn't. There's many, many reasons why a baby might be fussy. And it doesn't always go back to hunger. And that's the first thing we go to. Is your baby must not be getting enough milk. That's not always the reason for fussy behavior. It could just be that they need to be held. It could be that they need to be changed. It could be that they're gassy. It could be that they're hot. It could be that they're cold. Like there's so many things that go on with a baby that we're trying to figure out. It's not always about the feeding. We are carry mammals, and we are designed to carry our babies all the time. If a baby finds himself on their own, they will immediately call out so they are not at risk of being eaten by a predator, and they may as well have another feed to settle. And I like to tell people that too. I'm like, they don't want to be eaten by a bear. It's
crazy how primal we are. And I mean, when you have a baby, you have a newborn baby, they are so much more connected to like humans thousands of years ago than they are to your daily household operations,
Yeah.
Like they just don't have any idea. And even as we get older, I was just talking about this with my friends because we were out and we came back and my friend was like, I can't stop thinking about like the dumb thing I said or whatever. She's like, I hate my brain. When you're like this social anxiety and you come back and you're like, oh my God, did I sound like an idiot? What did I say? Did I say this? And this is your brain scanning for problems because this is why we have them, right? Thousands of years ago, we had to be constantly looking for predators, for danger, whatever. And this is basically what anxiety is. Mm-hmm. It's your brain scanning for problems. And so then you have all these worries about problems that don't exist for you because we don't live in that world anymore. And it's just like brains are a problem now. What I said to her, I was like, brains are just so annoying. Brains just don't even help us anymore.
Yeah, it's wild.
I wrote this blog post along. Let's see, when was this? My website doesn't say anything. Whatever. I remember it. I think it was during the podcast, but it was a little meme that I made that these are not signs of low milk supply. And I'm going to read them and see how they compare. So it's pumping output, fussy after feedings, not leaking, taking a bottle after breastfeeding, frequent feedings, soft feeling breasts, cluster feeding, and my absolute favorite, your mother-in-law told you.
That's the only one she didn't have, was the mother-in-law one. Yeah, that is.
So these are really, really common.
Yeah.
These are really common misunderstandings and, just bad information or confusion and just not understanding breastfeeding because we don't get taught.
Yeah, or just not understanding your newborn, which is also very normal. We need to get used to them and we need to figure them out. And that's very normal. And I think that we kind of think that, oh my gosh, my baby's born, I should know what my baby needs. And a lot of times you do. I know, no way, exactly. Like you never know what your kid wants. But sometimes we do know, okay, I think my baby's fine, but they're doing this thing. Or somebody else said that they're not fine. So it's like we get out of our own heads and we just are not listening to that mom instinct that we have.
Yes, your brain is taking over. Your useless ass brain is taking over and scanning for problems where there aren't any because especially now because you're in such a vulnerable state and you're worried anyway. And you are as a new parent, like everything's heightened. And that's for a reason as well, because your job now is to take care of a newborn. You're going to have to be more on alert. And so your body knows this. And here we are scanning. Where's the problem? Mm-hmm. And, you look for problems, you're going to find them. And usually they're not true.
So that's all your non-reasons for low milk supply. And we hope it's helpful. And that's it.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.